stretching like a slender ribbon along the western edge of South America. Chile is a land of striking contrasts. From the driest desert in the world in the north to the icy fjords and windswept plains of Patagonia in the south, Chile is a country of breathtaking diversity and natural wonder. Bordered by the vast Pacific Ocean to the west and the towering Andes Mountains to the east, this long and narrow nation spans over 4,000 miles from north to south, yet rarely exceeds 150 miles in width. Its geography creates a stunning variety of climates and landscapes that are rarely found within a single country. Chile is home to more than 19 million people, and its capital city, Santiago, stands at the heart of the nation, a bustling metropolis surrounded by snow-capped peaks. But Chile's true magic lies far beyond the urban center. Here, time slows down and nature takes the lead. To the north, the Atacama Desert glows under the sun, its arid terrain revealing ancient cultures, surreal salt flats, and skies so clear they are perfect for stargazing. Moving south, the land bursts into color with fertile valleys, vine-covered hillsides, and lakes that shimmer like polished glass. In the far south of Chile, where the Andes begin to dissolve into rugged hills and windswept plains, lies one of the most dramatic landscapes on Earth, Torres del Paine National Park. Located in the heart of Chilean Patagonia, this vast wilderness covers more than 440,000 acres of untouched nature. Here, mountains rise like stone cathedrals, glaciers creep down ancient valleys, and turquoise lakes reflect skies that shift from blue to silver in a matter of moments. The name Torres del Paine comes from the towering granite spires that dominate the skyline, three iconic peaks shaped over millions of years by wind, ice, and time. Paine means blue in the local Tehuelche language, a tribute to the striking colors that define this region. This land is wild and alive. Herds of guanacos move gracefully across the steppe, while soaring condors ride the winds above. If you are lucky, you might catch a glimpse of the elusive puma, silently watching from the shadows. The park's trails wind through forests, alongside rivers, and up to high viewpoints where silence speaks louder than words. The most famous trek, known as the W Route, takes visitors past glaciers, deep valleys, and the iconic towers themselves, a journey that challenges the body and awakens the soul. High in the northern reaches of Chile, nestled on the edge of the world's driest desert, lies the remote and mystical town of this small adobe village. Perched at more than 7,000 feet above sea level, is a gateway to one of the most extraordinary landscapes on Earth, the Atacama Desert. Here, under a sky that rarely sees clouds, time slows down and the silence is as vast as the horizon. The desert stretches like a golden ocean, shaped by wind and salt, by fire and dust. valleys of cracked earth and sculpted stone, geysers that hiss and steam at dawn, and salt flats that stretch endlessly beneath blinding blue skies. This is a place that feels more like another planet than a corner of Earth. One of the most otherworldly sights is the Valley of the Moon, where jagged rocks and sand dunes create a landscape so surreal it could be mistaken for the surface of Mars. Nearby, the El Tatio geysers erupt in the early morning cold, sending columns of steam into the icy air. Despite the harsh environment, life endures. Ancient petroglyphs speak of people who lived here thousands of years ago. The Atacameño culture, rich in knowledge and tradition, still survives in the rhythms of daily life, in the quiet markets, and in the simple, enduring architecture of the town. Just a short distance from San Pedro de Atacama lies a landscape that defies imagination, the Valle de la Luna, or Valley of the Moon. Carved by centuries of wind and water, this silent expanse of stone and sand resembles the surface of another world. Its name is no exaggeration. With its strange rock formations, dry salt flats and windswept dunes, the Valley of the Moon looks as if it were lifted from a distant planet and placed gently in the heart of the Atacama Desert. The colors here shift with the passing sun. At sunrise, the valley glows in soft pinks and purples. At midday, it becomes a blinding sea of white and gold. And at sunset, the rocks burn with deep reds and oranges as the sun dips behind the Andes and the shadows stretch long across the earth. This land has never known rain in recorded history. Its dry, cracked surface crunches underfoot, and the salt crystals that cover the ground shimmer like frost in the sun. Towering sand dunes rise beside jagged cliffs, and wind whistles softly through narrow canyons, carrying only the sound of silence. Hidden deep in Chilean Patagonia, along the shimmering shores of General Carrera Lake, lies one of nature's most exquisite and secret creations, the Marble Caves. Known in Spanish as Capillas de Mármol, these stunning formations are carved into solid rock by thousands of years of water, wind, and time. They rise from the lake like sculptures, their swirling patterns of blue, grey, and white, reflecting the pure waters below. The lake itself is the second largest in South America, shared by Chile and Argentina. But it is on the Chilean side where these caves exist, a quiet sanctuary of color and light, far from cities and crowds. The marble caves are not a single formation, but a series of tunnels, columns, and cathedral-like chambers formed entirely from monolithic marble. Over millennia, the waves of the lake have gently eroded the stone, creating smooth, flowing shapes that seem more like art than geology. What makes these caves truly magical is the light. On clear days, when the sun is high and the water is calm, the lake turns a brilliant turquoise. This light reflects off the marble, painting the walls with shifting shades of blue and green that change with every movement of the boat, with every passing cloud. In the southern reaches of Chilean Patagonia, where wind-swept mountains meet ancient ice, Grey Glacier stands as a vast and silent monument to time. Located within Torres del Paine National Park, this mighty glacier is part of the southern Patagonian icefield, the third largest reserve of freshwater on Earth. It stretches over 17 miles in length and more than 3 miles in width, with towering ice walls that rise like frozen cliffs above the turquoise waters of Grey Lake. The glacier gets its name from the silvery blue hue of its surface, a color that changes with the shifting light and sky. Under the sun, the ice glows in shades of pale blue and silver, while under clouds it deepens into a cold and powerful gray. As it slowly descends from the mountains, the glacier creaks and groans, cracking with deep echoes that roll across the lake. Massive chunks of ice called icebergs break free from its face and drift silently across the water, floating sculptures shaped by cold and time. Reaching Grey Glacier is a journey through wilderness. Whether by boat across Grey Lake or on foot along forested trails and rocky viewpoints, the glacier reveals itself gradually, first as a thin line on the horizon, then as a towering wall of ancient ice. This is a place of pure air and distant silence. At the break of dawn, high in the Andes Mountains of northern Chile, the earth begins to breathe, and from the frozen ground, steam rises into the morning air. This is El Tatio, one of the highest geyser fields on the planet. Located at over 14,000 feet above sea level, El Tatio is a geothermal wonderland. The name comes from the indigenous Kunza language, meaning the oven, and here, the ground truly cooks beneath the surface. More than 80 active geysers dot the valley, along with countless hot springs, boiling mud pools, and steaming fumaroles. At sunrise, when the air is still icy cold, the geysers erupt with full force, sending jets of steam and boiling water high into the sky, framed by the golden light of morning. The contrast is surreal. The land is barren, silent, and ancient, yet alive with energy just below the surface. The ground bubbles and hisses, the steam dances in the cold air. The entire landscape seems to shift and shimmer as the sun rises over the Andes. Despite the harsh environment, life finds a way. Bright green moss clings to the edges of hot springs, and flocks of flamingos feed in the mineral-rich waters nearby. Off the southern coast of Chile, shrouded in mist and mystery, lies an island unlike any other, Chiloé. Separated from the mainland by the Chacao Channel, Chiloé is a world of rolling green hills, wooden churches, and legends whispered by the sea. The rhythm of life here follows the tides, the rain, and the stories passed down through generations. This island is part of an archipelago of more than 40 islands, where fishing villages cling to the shore and colorful wooden houses, known as palafitos, rise on stilts above the water. The sea provides not only food but identity, shaping the culture, beliefs, and even the architecture of the island. Chiloé is a land where myth and reality are tightly woven. Here, fishermen speak of ghost ships, forest spirits, and the powerful presence of nature. Folklore is alive in everyday life, and tradition is carried not in museums, but in voices, kitchens, and songs. The island is also home to a collection of historic wooden churches, 16 of which have been declared UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Built by local hands using native timber, these churches stand as quiet monuments to faith, resilience, and craftsmanship. In the remote south of Chile, surrounded by towering mountains and untouched wilderness, lies a vast shimmering jewel, Lago General Carrera. This immense glacial lake is the largest in Chile and the second largest in South America. Its waters stretch across the border into Argentina, where it is known as Lago Buenos Aires. But on the Chilean side, it holds a spirit all its own, wild, deep, and endlessly blue. Fed by glaciers and mountain streams, the lake is known for its vibrant, ever-changing color. On calm days, it glows with shades of turquoise and cobalt. When storms sweep through the mountains, it turns steel gray, reflecting the drama of the Patagonian sky. Surrounded by rugged cliffs, forests, and hidden beaches, Lago General Carrera is a place of solitude and stunning beauty. Few roads reach its shores, and even fewer people pass through. Here, nature speaks with the voice of wind and water. The lake is perhaps most famous for the marble caves, smooth, swirling formations carved by centuries of waves, but its wonder goes far beyond. At the very edge of the world, where the land breaks into a labyrinth of islands and the winds never sleep, lies a place both fierce and hauntingly beautiful, Tierra del Fuego. This is the land of fire, a name given centuries ago by early explorers who saw the smoke and flames of native peoples' fires rising from the misty shores. It marks the southernmost tip of the South American continent, where Chile and Argentina share a realm of wild frontiers and distant silence. Tierra del Fuego is a land shaped by extremes, where jagged mountains rise from icy seas and forests twist in the constant wind. The weather here can change in a heartbeat, and the light stretches long into the evening, casting the landscape in golden and ghostly hues. On the Chilean side, vast areas remain untouched. Deep fjords cut into the coast, and lonely channels weave through remote islands. Few people live here, and those who do are shaped by the land, tough, resilient, and deeply connected to nature. This is a place of myth and endurance, of ancient peoples who once navigated its cold waters in canoes, wrapped in seal skins, living in harmony with the sea and the wind. Their spirit still lingers in the land, in the silence of the forests, and in the waves that crash against the rocky shore. High in the Chilean Andes, where the sky meets the mountains in quiet stillness, lies a hidden gem of the Altiplano, Laguna Miscanti. This breathtaking lagoon rests at over 13,000 feet above sea level, cradled between ancient volcanoes and untouched desert. Part of the Los Flamencos National Reserve, Laguna Miscanti is one of the most pristine and peaceful places in northern Chile. The first thing that strikes the eye is the color. The water glows with a deep, rich blue, framed by soft white shores of salt and minerals. Surrounding it are towering peaks, the Miscanti and Minix volcanoes, their slopes dusted with snow, their reflections mirrored in the glassy surface below. In this high-altitude silence, time seems suspended. There is no sound but the wind. No movement but the shadows of clouds drifting slowly across the land. Despite the harsh conditions, life thrives here in subtle ways. Bright pink flamingos wade in the shallows, while vicuñas graze quietly in the golden grasses nearby. Tiny desert flowers bloom between rocks, adding a soft touch of color to the vast open plain. In the heart of Chilean Patagonia, where rainforests meet snow-capped peaks, there is a sight that feels almost impossible, a glacier suspended in the air, clinging to a mountainside. This is the Kelat Hanging Glacier. Tucked deep within Quelet National Park, along the wild and winding Carretera Austral, the glacier appears like a frozen waterfall, pouring slowly from a high cliff into the dense forest below. Its white and blue ice hangs like a frozen breath above a roaring cascade, where meltwater crashes down into the valley in a permanent rush of life. Surrounding it is a world of green, temperate rainforest, dripping with moss, tangled roots and towering trees. Here, the air is heavy with mist and the scent of wet earth. The sound of birds, rain, and distant waterfalls fills the space between the trees. Unlike the dry deserts of the north, this is a land shaped by water, by endless rainfall, glacial movement, and rivers that carve through valleys of ancient stone. It is lush, alive, and wild. To reach the glacier's viewpoint is to walk through this living forest, along trails that rise through ferns and hanging vines. And then, suddenly, the trees part, and there it is, suspended between mountain and sky. The glacier gleams in the southern light. At the far southern tip of continental Chile, where the winds blow cold from the Strait of Magellan and the horizon stretches toward Antarctica, lies Punta Arenas, the gateway to Patagonia's deep south. This remote city is one of the southernmost on Earth. Built on a rugged coast and shaped by fierce weather, Punta Arenas carries the spirit of explorers, sailors, and those who chose a life at the edge of the world. Its history is woven with tales of adventure and survival. In the 19th century, it became a vital port for ships navigating the southern seas, long before the Panama Canal existed. It was a place of coal, wool, gold, and trade. A meeting point for Europeans, native peoples, and travelers chasing distant dreams. Today, that legacy lingers in the city's grand mansions, quiet cemeteries, and the weathered faces of its harbor. The wind never rests here. It moves through the streets, across the rooftops, and out to sea, carrying the voices of the past. Yet despite its isolation, Punta Arenas is full of life. Colorful houses line the hills. Markets buzz with the scent of seafood and spices. Just outside the town of San Pedro de Atacama, where the desert stretches wide beneath a burning sky, the stones of an ancient fortress still stand watch over the valley. This is Pukará de Quitor, a silent guardian of Chile's deep past. Built over 700 years ago by the Atacameño people, this pre-Columbian fortress rises along a steep hillside of red rock. Its terraces and walls, made of stone and sun, were designed for defense, a stronghold against invading forces in a land of fierce extremes. From above, the view is vast and unbroken. The green thread of the San Pedro River winds through the dry valley, while beyond, the desert and volcanoes of the Altiplano stretch toward the sky. This is a place where time feels suspended, where ancient footsteps still echo in the dust. Pukará de Quitor is more than a ruin, it is a memory written into the land. Long before the arrival of the Spanish, this fortress was a center of culture, trade, and survival. Its walls tell the story of a people who knew how to live in one of the driest places on Earth, who honored the sun, the wind, and the earth beneath their feet. Later, it became a place of resistance, a symbol of strength during the first confrontations between the Atacameño and the Spanish conquistadors. In the deep south of Chile, where rolling steppe meets jagged peaks and the sky feels endless, lies one of the wildest and most ambitious conservation landscapes on Earth, Patagonia National Park. Once a vast network of sheep ranches, this land has been reborn. Through years of rewilding and restoration, grasslands have healed, rivers now run clear, and wildlife has returned to its ancient paths. Today, the park stands as a symbol of hope, a living testament to what nature can become when given the space to breathe again. Here, guanacos roam in herds across open plains, their forms silhouetted against a backdrop of snow-capped mountains. Condors ride thermals high above, their massive wings casting slow-moving shadows across the land. And in the quiet hours, pumas slip silently through the brush, elusive guardians of the wilderness. The landscape is as varied as it is vast. Emerald valleys wind between glacial peaks. Crystal lakes reflect skies that shift from calm blue to storm gray in minutes. And everywhere the wind carries the scent of untouched earth and ancient stone. In the lush, rain-soaked south of Chile, where the Andes meet ancient forests and volcanoes rise above the clouds, lies the oldest national park in the country, Vicente Pérez Rosales. Founded in the year 1926, this protected land covers over 900 square miles of natural beauty. It is a world of deep lakes, green valleys, and snow-capped giants, a place where water, fire, and forest live together in perfect harmony. At the heart of the park stands Osorno volcano, a perfectly shaped cone, often called the Mount Fuji of South America. Its snowy peak watches over the landscape like a silent guardian, mirrored in the dark, still waters of Lake Llanquihue and Lake Todos los Santos. The land here is rich with contrast, black volcanic rock lines riverbeds, while emerald moss covers ancient trees in thick, humid forests. Waterfalls cascade from high cliffs, the most famous being Petrohue Falls, where bright turquoise rivers crash over lava rock with powerful beauty. This is a land shaped by the forces of nature, yet filled with peace. Trails wind through cohue and alurse trees, some of them hundreds of years old. Birds call from the canopy, and the air carries the scent of rain and earth. In the heart of Chile's Lake District, where forests whisper and volcanoes rise in perfect stillness, lies a body of water as calm as a dream, Lake Llanquihue. It is one of the largest lakes in South America, its surface stretching wide beneath skies that shift from soft gray to brilliant blue. The lake is ancient, formed by glaciers, and its waters hold the reflections of time itself. On clear days, the perfect cone of Osorno volcano stands tall beyond the horizon, mirrored in the lake's surface like a painting come to life. Alongside it, the peaks of Calbuco and Tronador add their silent majesty to the view, rising like watchful guardians over the land. The shoreline is dotted with charming towns, each with its own character. Puerto Varas, with its German-style architecture and flower-filled streets, offers a blend of culture and nature. Further along, Fruterla brings music, history, and the soft rhythm of life lived near the water's edge. Around the lake, green hills roll down to quiet beaches. Cattle graze, birds soar, and the air carries the scent of pine and rain. It is a landscape that feels both wild and welcoming, shaped by volcanoes, softened by water, and filled with life. Rising in perfect symmetry above the forests and lakes of southern Chile, Osorno volcano stands as one of the most iconic and awe-inspiring peaks in the entire Andes. Its snow-covered cone reaches over 8,000 feet into the sky, shaped by fire and ice. Seen from miles away, it cuts a flawless silhouette against the clouds, a vision of power frozen in time. Osorno is more than just a volcano. It is a symbol of the landscape's raw energy, of the forces that have shaped this land over thousands of years. From its slopes, the surrounding region unfolds in all directions. Lake Llanquihue, stretching wide and blue, Lake Todos los Santos lying still like glass, and dense green forests cloaking the lower hills. Despite its peaceful appearance, Osorno is very much alive. It has erupted many times in recorded history, each event leaving its mark on the valleys below. Today it sleeps, but its presence is always felt. In the heat beneath the soil, in the steam rising from cracks, in the quiet respect it commands from those who stand beneath it. The journey up its slopes is a journey through changing worlds, from ancient temperate forests filled with native trees, to volcanic rock fields where little grows, to icy ridges where wind and silence reign. Deep within the misty forests of southern Chile, hidden between cliffs of volcanic stone and walls of dripping green, there lies a place where fire meets water in perfect harmony, the Termas Geométricas. Tucked inside the Villarrica National Park, these thermal springs are not only a retreat, but a design of nature itself. More than 60 hot water sources emerge from the earth here, warmed by the ancient energy of nearby volcanoes and flowing through red wooden walkways built gently into the natural canyon. Steam rises from the pools as soft rain falls from the canopy above. The sound of water echoes in every direction, falling from rock walls, trickling through bamboo channels, and gathering in still, steaming basins of mineral-rich warmth. The setting feels almost otherworldly. Dense, temperate rainforest surrounds the springs, with ferns, moss, and native trees reaching high into the fog. Every step along the narrow paths leads deeper into silence, into calm, into a space where the modern world feels far away. Here, geometry is not only in the design, it is in the balance. Between heat and cold, stone and wood, light and shadow. In the shadow of a restless volcano, where ancient forests whisper through the wind and lakes reflect the sky like mirrors, lies one of Chile's most remarkable wild places, Conguillío National Park. This is a land shaped by fire and time. At its heart stands the Loma volcano, one of the most active in South America. slopes are carved with old lava flows, black rivers of stone frozen mid-motion. Yet around this ruggedness, life has returned in full color. The park is home to one of the last great stands of Araucaria trees, tall, prehistoric giants known also as monkey puzzle trees. Some are over 1,000 years old. Their spiny branches reach upward like the arms of time itself, holding the sky in a quiet embrace. Lakes and lagoons lie scattered across the park, formed by glacial melt and volcanic activity. The waters of Lake Conguillío stretch out calmly beneath the volcano, a perfect contrast to the powerful energy beneath the surface. The landscape changes with every step. Dense forests give way to open plains, lava fields meet wetlands. And throughout, the sounds of bird song, wind, and distant rumbling remind visitors that this place is always alive. High in the foothills of the Andes, where still lakes reflect towering trees and the air carries the scent of rain and pine, lies one of Chile's most peaceful and enchanting landscapes, Huerquehue National Park. This is a place where silence speaks, a land of hidden lagoons, forested mountains, and ancient Araucaria trees that have stood here for over 1,000 years. Their tall, spiny branches reach toward the clouds like sentinels guarding a forgotten world. The trails wind gently upward through native forest, past streams that trickle through moss-covered rocks. Step by step, the sounds of the outside world fall away. All that remains is the whisper of wind in the trees, the soft call of birds, and the occasional rush of distant waterfalls. Along the way, crystal-clear lakes appear like secrets hidden in the forest. Tinquilco, Verde, Toro, and several others, each surrounded by dense woodland and untouched stillness. Their surfaces lie undisturbed, mirroring the sky, the mountains, and the timeless trees that stand at their edge. Huerquehue is not a place of dramatic peaks or volcanic fire. It is a place of balance, of quiet strength. In southern Chile, nestled between a vast lake and a smoking volcano, lies a town that feels like the heart of Patagonia's adventure, Pucón. Set on the shores of Lake Villarrica, with the snow-capped cone of Villarrica volcano rising just beyond, Pucón is a place where nature and energy live side by side. The landscape here is wild, but the rhythm of life flows easily, shaped by water, fire, and the deep stillness of the surrounding forests. Pucón began as a small lakeside village. Over time, it grew into one of Chile's most beloved destinations, not for its size, but for its spirit. It is a place where travelers come not just to see, but to experience. To walk, to climb, to breathe deeply, and to feel connected to the raw pulse of the land. The town itself is warm and welcoming. Wood-built houses line the streets. Cafes glow softly in the evenings, and the scent of pine smoke drifts through the air. From here, paths lead out in every direction, to thermal springs, ancient forests, hidden waterfalls, and towering peaks. The Villa Rica volcano dominates the horizon. Sometimes quiet, sometimes steaming, it reminds everyone of the powerful forces that shape this region. Far in the south of Chile, where the Andes give way to deep valleys and thick forests, a river rushes with unmatched force and beauty, the Río Futaleufú. Its name comes from the Mapuche language and means Great River, and it lives up to that name in every way. Born from glacial waters high in the mountains, the river flows fast and clear, a ribbon of turquoise carving through Patagonia's remote and rugged heart. This is not a quiet river. It is wild, loud, and full of life. Its rapids are legendary, among the most powerful and beautiful anywhere on Earth. For those who seek adventure, it is a sacred place. Rafters and kayakers come from around the world, drawn by the challenge and the raw energy of the water. But Futaleufú is not only about adrenaline. Along its calmer stretches, the river reveals a softer side. Gentle pools reflect the forest canopy. Eagles circle overhead. The distant hum of rapids blends with the rustle of trees and the calls of native birds. On its banks, small communities live in harmony with the land. In the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles from the nearest coast, a small island rises from the sea, remote, windswept and filled with mystery. This is Rapa Nui, known to the world as Easter Island. It is a land of stone and silence, a place where massive statues, the Moriwai, stand watch over the land and sea. Carved centuries ago from volcanic rock, these silent guardians speak not with words but with presence. They are faces of ancestors, symbols of strength, memory and identity. The island is small, yet its history stretches deep. Polynesian voyagers first arrived here over 1,000 years ago, crossing vast ocean distances with only stars and wind to guide them. What they built here, a complex society, rich in art and tradition, remains one of the great achievements of human history. Rapa Nui is more than its statues. It is a land shaped by fire and ocean. Three extinct volcanoes form its foundation. Rolling green hills meet rugged cliffs, and waves crash endlessly against black volcanic stone. Wild horses roam freely. The wind carries the scent of salt and earth. On the northern shore of Easter Island, where waves meet white coral sand and palm trees sway gently in the breeze, there lies a place of rare and unexpected beauty, Anakena Beach. This is not the image most carry of Rapa Nui. Here, the landscape softens. The black volcanic rock gives way to golden sand. The ocean glows in shades of turquoise and deep blue, calm and inviting beneath an endless Pacific sky. But Anakena is more than just a tropical beach. It is a place of origins, the legendary landing site of Hotu Matua, the first Polynesian settler and founding ancestor of the Rapa Nui people. It is where the island's human story began, and where sacred ground meets the sea. Guarding the beach stand several moai tall, weathered statues, their faces turned inland as always, watching over the land with quiet strength. Some wear stone headdresses, others are marked by time, all carry the deep silence of memory. Palm trees line the edge of the sand, casting long shadows as the light shifts through the day. The sound of the waves is soft, steady, and endless, a rhythm that connects land and sea, past and present. Families gather here, as they have for generations. At the edge of Easter Island's southern cliffs, where the land falls steeply into the sea, a giant circle of stone and silence rests beneath the open sky. This is Rano Kau. It is an extinct volcano, one of the oldest on the island. Its wide crater stretches more than a mile across, and within it lies a freshwater lake, covered with floating reeds and framed by steep green walls. The crater holds its own quiet world, a landscape both wild and still, untouched by the outside. From the rim, the view is vast and humbling. Behind, the rolling hills of Rapa Nui stretch toward the horizon. Ahead, the endless Pacific Ocean meets the sky in a line so distant, it seems unreal. And just beyond the cliff's edge, small islands rise from the sea, the islets of Motu Nui, Motu Iti, and Motu Kakau. These rocks once played a central role in one of the island's most powerful traditions, the Birdman ceremony. From a stone village near the crater's edge, warriors would descend the cliffs, swim through shark-filled waters, and race to retrieve the first egg of the season. It was a ritual of courage, strength, and deep spiritual meaning. Perched on the high rim of Rano Kau crater, where sheer cliffs drop into the Pacific and the wind speaks in steady waves, lies one of the most sacred and mysterious sites on Easter Island, Orongo Village. This is a place of stone and sky, a ceremonial center, built of flat lava rocks, shaped into low, rounded houses that blend into the land. For centuries, Orongo was the spiritual heart of a people, a place where the physical world touched the divine. Here, the Rapa Nui gathered to honor one of their most important traditions, the Tangata Manu, the Birdman ceremony. It was not just a contest, it was a sacred ritual, a test of strength, courage, and connection to the gods. Each year, leaders and their chosen champions came to Orongo to await the nesting of seabirds on the nearby islets of Motu Nui. When the time came, the competitors would climb down the cliffs, swim across the open ocean through dangerous waters, and wait hidden among the rocks for the first egg of the season. The one who returned with it would bring power and honor to his clan for the year ahead. And so, Orongo became a place of both competition and devotion. Along the arid coast of northern Chile, where the desert meets the sea in a union of extremes, there lies a beach that feels almost out of place. A pocket of calm turquoise water and white sand known as Bahía Inglesa. Here, the Pacific softens, the waves arrive gently. The wind carries the scent of salt, not storm. The coastline, usually wild and rugged in this part of the world, opens up into a quiet bay of clear, shallow waters and pale, powdery shores. Bahía Inglesa is small, but striking. The contrast is what makes it unforgettable. A brilliant strip of tropical blue, framed by the dry, golden hills of the Atacama Desert. There are few places on Earth where the elements come together in such unlikely beauty. The name means English Bay, a memory of early European sailors who once anchored in these calm waters. But long before ships arrived, this coast was known to ancient peoples who traveled the desert, following the sea for life, for food, and for meaning. Today, Bahía Inglesa is a place of stillness and simplicity. Children play in the shallows, small fishing boats drift across the bay. Where the driest desert on Earth meets the cold breath of the Pacific, a rare and fragile world quietly unfolds. This is Pan de Azúcar National Park. Here, the landscape is shaped not by water, but by wind and time. Rolling hills of ochre and rust rise above the coastline. The ground is dry, the air crisp, and the silence deep. Yet life exists here, quietly, persistently, hidden in the cracks and carried on the breeze. The name means sugarloaf, inspired by a peak that rises above the park like a soft mound of earth and stone. But there is little sweetness here. Instead, there is strength, a delicate strength born from survival, from adaptation, and from patience. Cacti stretch toward the sky, their spines catching the early light. Foxes and guanacos move carefully through the dry terrain. And when the desert fog rolls in from the sea, a cool mist known as the Camanchaca, the plants drink from the air, taking moisture drop by drop from the clouds. Along the coast, the rhythm changes. Waves crash against cliffs, seabirds wheel overhead. Off the coast of northern Chile, in the calm waters of the Pacific, lies a small island, brushed by wind and surrounded by silence, Isla Damas. It is one of 3 islands in the Humboldt Penguin National Reserve. Small in size, but rich in life, the land is dry and rocky, shaped by ocean spray and desert sun. But around its shores, the sea tells a different story, one filled with motion, sound, and surprising abundance. The waters here are cooled by the Humboldt Current, bringing nutrients that nourish one of the most diverse marine ecosystems along the South American coast. Dolphins leap through the surf, sea lions bask on the rocks. And among the brush and sand, the black and white forms of Humboldt penguins waddle and rest. Isla Damas is untouched. No one lives here. There are no roads, no buildings, no noise beyond wind and waves. Nature moves freely, as it always has. Along its coast, white sand beaches appear between rugged cliffs. The contrast is striking: dry desert hills above, crystal blue water below.